Hi, welcome to Minute with Mickey. A time to wonder about the story, The Old Prophet. Okay, this one really has me stumped. Couple of questions right off the bat. Why is it that this old prophet would lie? Was he trying to make sure that he knew that this young prophet's words were actually true? And the young prophet who was so strong when he said to Jeroboam in the story from the week before, I cannot have a meal with you. I will not be here. God has told me clearly that I'm to eat or drink nothing here and to go back to Judah. Why is it that he was then swayed by the old prophet? Is there something here about the fact that our own human needs sometimes take over what we know God has told us very clearly not to do? But the old prophet lied, and the young prophet paid attention to him. And then this horrible thing happened. And why didn't the lion eat the donkey? And why didn't the lion eat the prophet? Why did he just stand there? Is there something significant about the fact that the lion was used as a tool by God for God's judgment, not just for feeding for himself? And would that make a difference? Why is it that the old prophet decided he wanted to mourn this young man? Was it because he finally realized that, yes, this was a prophet of God, a real prophet of God? Was the old prophet surprised himself by the fact that God actually did speak to him? Maybe that didn't happen very often because this old prophet was at this point in time able to lie and not worry about it. And yet God did use him. When the old prophet said, I want you to bury my bones next to this prophet, was it because he somehow wanted to be close to a true prophet of God? Not just a prophet who could say things that weren't true. Does this show us that God uses who he's going to use no matter what? We know that real prophets of God cannot say something that wasn't true. And yet this old prophet did say something that wasn't true. And yet later, God spoke through him. The young prophet, was he just simply carried away by his own need for hunger, his own fleshly needs, and that is what did him in? And why would God punish this young prophet, even though he'd been so mightily used by God before? What are the things that this story is stirring up inside of you? Why is this story in the Bible? God wants us to know something from this, so it must be important. And I'm wondering, for myself, how many times have I heard God tell me something that he wanted me to do, and I went my own way instead? How about you? What's God saying? Have a great week.